and welcome to episode 10 of the Championship Rounds podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Taj and Dan, and we're here to review a great weekend of boxing over in Japan with 8 world title fights over 3 days and just loads more action that we're going to get into today. Now, I'll ask you first, what event out of these 4 did you enjoy the most?
The Inoue Satsumi card. I thought that was the best card. That's one I enjoyed the most.
Definitely.
I agree.
Because, I enjoyed every fight on that card for different reasons.
And most of the half of the Nakatani undercard was. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there in a bit. But yeah, I agree that Sunday card, the Takuma Inoue card, was the best one. Definitely was the best one. But we'll start in chronological order. Start on Saturday morning, UK time and US time. I guess it was Saturday morning. Sivanachi Nonshinga got knocked out by Masamichi Yabuki. Yabuki becomes a 2-time light flyweight champion in what was just a complete domination from start to finish. Yabuki just dominated. It was one of the best performances in world title fights this year for me. How did you see it, Dan? Going in, we sort of predicted that we all predicted that Yabuki would win this fight, but not like that. I don't think.
No, I didn't think it'd be that one-sided. I thought Nonshinga would actually have more success than he did. He didn't seem to have any success. He couldn't not get past that jab.
I thought he was going to have a lot of earlier success, the first couple of rounds, but he almost immediately got hurt in the fight, and you could tell his legs just weren't there the entire fight.
To me, Nonshinga looked very, very drained at 108 pounds.
They both did. They're pretty big people for 108 pounds.
Yeah, I agree, but Nonshinga definitely showed it more.
Looked.
Yeah.
He looked like he's plotting, and it seemed like he was stuck in between styles the whole fight. It just wasn't good for him. And like you said, that jab was insane.
It was just ridiculous. You even made a compilation on it.
It was too beautiful. I could not do it.
It's weird because I think going in, I think we all thought Nonshinga was the better technical boxer.
I thought what he showed since the Araneta fight, he showed he could do both. He could slug how he did with Flores, but he can also box like he did with Suganov. And I thought he could do that better than Yabuki. Yabuki kind of is an orthodox fighter up until now, apparently, because he boxed the perfect technical fight the entire time.
Yeah, I said that he probably will have a better time if he fought on the inside because they get picked apart at range. And he couldn't get on the inside, and he got picked apart at range.
His defense was so much more improved than usual. I can't think of more than 2 significant punches that Nonshinga landed in the entire fight.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, so has he ever put together a good performance like that from start to finish? Even when he beat Kenshiro, he had those last 3 rounds.
Yeah, he almost got stopped in the 9th and the round he got the stoppage in.
Yeah.
This was just complete start to finish.
And literally, Nonshinga's defense upstairs wasn't that bad throughout the fight. He just wasn't throwing. So it was just dominant. And then as soon as Yabuki started going to the body consistently, the hands dropped and he was done. He got hurt early on, hurt a couple of times throughout, but Nonshinga's defense like especially upstairs, wasn't that bad. It's just that he wasn't throwing. He just offered nothing offensively, and like was running into shots, even if they were half on the guard. Like, it's just I wasn't expecting that.
It's like the punch that hurt him first, which I feel like just was the reason he didn't get to pull the trigger as much as he did. He got hurt with a jab. Is the punch that wobbled him in the second round.
Yeah, that jab was so good.
Where he took Kenshiro's jab and used it himself.
That jab was so good.
I just think Nonshinga used up all of his energy that he had making weight, to be honest.
Yeah, I would like to see. Same with Kenshiro. He would probably show like a better version of himself.
Yeah, he needs to follow Kenshiro, go up to 112.
And Bomber, but less about him the better. It's really weird. Like we said last week, the winner of this is the number one, and yeah, Yabuki's the number one light flyweight in the world right now.
Yeah, Bring Ratings just showed up. He's just the number one, and I think they made a water number 2
on the better ratings, which are ours. Mine, because he's number one,
and I don't do them, so yeah, he is number one. But yeah, fantastic performance. Like really good performance.
Probably like a top 5 performance this year.
That's
maybe higher.
Kenshiro win and loss, aging well too.
It's funny. All of his losses are like we said in the previous. They're all really good fighters that he lost to.
Yeah, and 2 of them fought well over the weekend as well. Akui and 3 of them did actually.
Three.
Yeah.
All these guys have fought each other.
All world champions.
Yeah, apart from Mation.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's moving up. This is the thing with light flyweight at the minute. Yabuki finishes the fight and then says he wants to fight Olasquaga. He wants to move up as well.
He can't do it, and I don't blame him. He can't. He physically can't do it anymore.
Especially with that IBF rehydration.
Oh yeah, that probably doesn't help him.
That's the killer, man.
And he said in a tweet I seen that he is at like 5% body fat for that fight.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
If he moves up and Nonshinga moves up, like how good is flyweight gonna be?
That'd be ridiculous.
Because Kenshiro has just moved there, Sonny's there, Akui's there. I've forgotten everything.
Olasquaga's
there.
Kyoguchi's there.
Kyoguchi's there as well.
Kyoguchi's there. Bomber's there. Like whatever you want to say about him, he's a former world champion. Bomber. On who else is at flyweight? There's who's the Argentinian kid? Alvarado is fighting Tobias Reyes. Like
yeah, we used to eat Ayala.
Angel Ayala. Like there's a lot of good guys.
It would probably a good one of the higher divisions in boxing.
Yeah,
so it's funny because not a lot of these lower weight fighters stay at the weight. They like gradually move up.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of. Ricardo Sandoval as well.
Yeah, Chihuahua's a flyweight now as well.
He's rated.
Yeah. Probably gonna fight Kenshiro maybe.
He is number. Yeah. I think he's number.
He's the mandatory.
Yeah,
he's the mandatory. Yeah. But
that's to be a floor.
I'm gonna try and keep some sort of like, I guess structures to this, but we could. This is the thing with like this show. We can go off on so many tangents that just like ruin the structure completely. Because we can start talking about Kenshiro and Olasquaga now, but like they're different days and it's all a mess. So should we talk about well, I guess it's not really a random tangent. Kyoguchi Perez, that's next on the list, isn't it? And that is on the list. Because my God, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it did make the list. That was a great one.
I can't think of 10 fights better than that this year.
It's ridiculous.
They never stop throwing. you see the hand speed isn't like as crazy as most flyweights would be, but it didn't matter. They were just power punching the hell out of each other the entire fight. They never stopped.
Yep. All in the pocket. You know what I think the difference was? Kiyoguchi's jab. That was the difference between the two. He was setting stuff up off that jab. He always had that sort of fencing arm going out, and I think that was the main difference. But yeah,
I think there's been a bigger difference if he started going to the body early because he hurt Peras, I think, in round 9 with a body shot.
Yeah. Should have gone to the body more, but beautiful fight, man. If you haven't seen it, please watch that. Please watch it.
So you see, Peras was doing that like Golovkin shot, the downwards
hook.
Yeah, all the time. Especially in the first 4 rounds, doing it all the time. Yeah, if he did go to going to the body, I think he would have stopped for us.
You know what the funniest thing about this is? This was the most competitive of the 3 fights.
I guess they really wanted to win the trilogy. Kiyoguchi unofficially won the trilogy.
I'm glad you got to close the chapter on that. I wonder who's going to fight next.
Well, originally the rematch was meant to be a WBA eliminator, wasn't it? For Inoue.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it would still apply then.
But I don't know.
I feel like he deserves it. So, I'm not sure with that performance and how he's been since moving up that he would beat these other flyweights. I feel like of the former champions outside of Bamba, he hasn't really performed like super great moving up in weight.
And like he is a lot smaller as well. Like the 105 to 112, it's only 7 pounds, but there's some big boys at lightweight right now. Like
Kenshiro and then Akui, they're like bigger flyweights.
Yeah, like we've already seen Kenshiro at 108 look much bigger than Kiyoguchi though. Like we've seen that. Yeah, Olasquaga's bigger. Ayala's bigger. Like a lot of these guys are. He can be in really fun fights, and he's a really, really good fighter. But I just think he's a little bit too small, and he lacks a little bit of the firepower at 112 to really, really make a championship run.
It's like a Daigo Higa situation.
Yeah, he'd give them like a tough fight because his offense is so good.
Yeah,
but maybe he doesn't have enough to win the fights.
Yeah, I agree. And if you're getting hit that much by Vince Parras, like.
But you never know. Maybe he was just like fine. Like he really just wanted to win the fight.
Which is funny because he made it closer by doing that. At least he got it.
Yeah, but saying that when like you've boxed the perfect fight and lost, you feel like you've got to change something.
He just needs to. He probably felt like he needed to stop him.
Yeah, because like, he won the first fight, but he didn't have a crazy high output in the second fight. That's why I think he really was like, yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can to win this fight because he didn't stop throwing.
It's ridiculous. Like this is what annoys me. Like CompuBox need to start doing numbers for those fights.
Well,
I probably could hit up Aris Pina, see what he can do. No.
Yeah. Hey Aris, I posted on YouTube. Check it out.
Yep.
Shout out Aris.
He was working CompuBox this weekend for Victoria People, I think.
Yeah. Hashtag list.
Also on that card, the headliner on that card, John Real Casemiro did a load of John Real Casemiro things. He missed weight again. Barely made the contracted next day reweigh-in to make the fight official. Was caught rubbing menthol all over him to try and put Sal Sanchez off. and then went and I Sal Sanchez in a round.
Yeah. That's
I
probably one of
don't.
our worst predictions this
Yeah,
week because we thought
We-
because he
we-
missed weight and because of how he is, that he was probably just going to labor and plod everywhere, and Sanchez would probably outbox him. Nope. Sanchez got hurt and dropped in about 20 seconds of the fight.
literally the first exchange, and I don't want to admit how much money I lost in that fight, but it was
Because
it was quite,
you said you're changing your prediction to a KO after he missed weight, and I think
Yeah.
the complete opposite. I think that helped him because he didn't have to drain himself as much. I mean, you
yeah.
do
But
see
the
a lot
next
of
day
times.
weigh-in,
You do see a lot of times that people that miss weight, they are really weak and they do get stopped. But
Yeah.
quite a lot of the times as well, they perform well because they're not draining themselves. I mean, it's only a pound, but that pound makes a lot of difference.
It's like he like got his like good like highlight, like one of his better performances of the decade of his weird career, but
Yeah.
he's kind of like messed up his future in terms of he just got banned from fighting in Japan. He's probably not going to be allowed to fight at that weight class he's been trying to contend at for however long.
yeah,
He just
Yeah,
ruined his
because
future because he didn't want to make weight.
look at the Yamanaka fight, the second fight where he missed weight. I mean, he stopped him in 2 rounds. Would he have done that if he had actually to go down to 118? Maybe. But I don't think he would have went that quick and that back.
You know, it's just embarrassing from him. But it's like common at this point with him. He's just like a very controversial, like
yeah.
weird
He's just.
fighter.
Can I just say, how the hell did Sal Sanchez make the count for that second knockdown?
I have no
He's
idea.
a overly tough person. Like he's a crazy.
He needs
tough fighter.
to stay at bantamweight. Or don't exchange hooks with an insane puncher like Casemiro. That's probably a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah, because
I
You
do.
can have,
I would like to see him in Sanchez in another title fight though.
yeah, that shouldn't. I don't think that's just like stop any. I mean, he's still good. He just got caught
got caught. Yeah,
by a big puncher. It doesn't matter how good of a chin you have if you're getting caught in an exchange by
Wasn't
someone
that
who
the first
punches
time
that
he's
hard.
ever been down?
Yeah, because Casemiro, he's always been able to punch. He's just annoying and
Outside the ring, he's just a pest.
and the word I'm looking for, I can't think of it.
unreliable.
Inconsistent. There we go. He's inconsistent
There you go.
and unreliable. But he's just good. He's a good fighter.
This is very annoying, and it's very weird, and it's very.
Professional.
Yeah, because like he hasn't looked good. Maybe he just doesn't look good because he doesn't care about these opponents. He's not putting in the effort that he needs to. Maybe he's not probably not training well enough in the gym.
Yeah, I wouldn't probably go insane over fighting the Tumba Uguni. I guess a former bantamweight title challenger, but you need to like you just messed up your future by not caring that much.
Because now he's against Sal Sanchez. It's a tough test for him. He actually probably trained more. He just still missed the weight.
Did he though, or did he just land a punch?
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess it's hard to say, but maybe
It
did
seemed
just
like
land
if
a
he was gonna
punch.
hit, I was gonna say if he was gonna hit, like he would have eventually hit him. I'd have done the same thing anyway in any part of the fight.
Who knows, man?
Well,
Who knows?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and say he trained more.
Then he missed weight though, so like, did he train more?
Well, maybe he trained more. He's just so fat in between that he had so much weight to lose that he just couldn't do it no matter how much he trained.
Yeah, he might just be a featherweight, which is crazy because he's not that big of a fighter.
Because was it worth it just to like starve yourself and dehydrate yourself for so long and train so hard just to lose a pound? No.
Yeah, but he just ruined a lot of his future by doing that. So wonder what he's gonna do now. He'll probably
it's
fight
fine.
in the Philippines or America or something.
It's only a year. He'll have 1 fight or 2 fights, and then he can get a
Yeah,
shot.
but the issue is that they'll probably ban him from fighting at 122 in Japan, though. That's the issue.
Well, if they want to see the Inoue fight, then
They'll lift the ban like they did with
You know who? You know who he should fight?
Hmm.
He should fight Marlon Tapales.
in the Philippines, yeah, why not? Manny Pacquiao Promotions, they can make that.
Yeah, make that fight.
That'd be big.
But Tapales is probably just going to sit out on his ranking, isn't he? Thinking about it, but which is annoying. But yeah, that's that card done, and then Sunday morning. Sunday morning was the start of the 2-day event from Tekken, and 7 world title fights across the 2 days. Ridiculous event at the Ariake Arena. Shikichi Iwata knocks out Jairo Noriega in round 3 in one of the most brutal knockouts you'll see this year. Beautiful left hook to win the WBO at 108 pounds. Just
We got a lot of like outcomes wrong, and this is the one where you thought that it was gonna be like a close, maybe even a controversial decision. Nope.
yeah,
Well, up until the KO, I mean, it was a close fight. It was a competitive fight.
he was getting
Noriega-
outboxed. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Noriega started well, especially in that first round.
yeah.
And then you just
But it's
got
just that power, man.
Yeah,
That
because
power's ridiculous.
like Noriega's a back foot boxer, and he does go on the front foot a bit, but maybe like that like the aggressiveness he had got him knocked out.
and the lack of power.
Yeah.
It wasn't gonna do any. It wasn't gonna set. It was gonna set a water off.
Yeah, you can't trade like that with. You can't
Somebody
trade like
punches
that with the
significantly
what?
harder than you.
Yeah.
And got him face planted. So.
Yeah, like I get it. It's a world title fight. You want to do everything to win, but just fight to your advantage. Know your style and fight to it.
Yeah, well, definitely exceeded everybody's expectations, at least
Yeah,
here.
like
Because
especially early. I don't go all out crazy early. I just box him, see how it goes for a few rounds, and then you can up it and start fighting on the front foot.
But yeah, he just didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and then he got hit with an uppercut, and then like he did turn his head and he got hit behind, but not. Iwata was in the process of throwing that right hand anyway, and then he turned his head. Then
Yeah.
he went down.
He was gone.
Then gets
His legs were
then
totally
gets
gone.
iced. Yeah, then gets iced with such a clean left hook, man.
Beautiful left hook. That will make you Fred, won't it?
Yeah, it's written down.
Yep. Yep. It's a beautiful shot, man. A beautiful left hook. But we said earlier about Yabuki, like that's the fight for me at 108 pounds. If Yabuki's going to stay put, like a Watter
Yeah.
against Yabuki.
He called out Yabuki as well, didn't he?
Yeah,
After the
he called
fight.
out Yabuki. Let's see if that can be made. Like, I think Mr. Honda said that Watter's probably going to have a mandatory, which is frustrating. But and Yabuki's probably going to have a mandatory as well. Probably going to have to fight Araneta.
Oh,
But
yeah, that's fine. Let them both get the manager out of the way, and assuming they both win, and they can fight each other, that'll be a good fight.
do we know who
Yeah.
is mandatory for Iwata's belt?
I think it's Suganov, but I'll get the WBO rankings up one sec.
Well, I'll be more scared for Yabuki because Araneta can punch through walls. So
The WBO rankings right now, junior flyweight. So Suganov is number 3, and Simsri is number 4. Jason Vason number 5. So probably one of those 4.
with Yabuki. I know Araneta has been sitting on that mandatory for a while.
Well,
But maybe with Yabuki though, like I'm not sure because Araneta deferred the mandatory because he was injured, and Yabuki was technically a mandatory because he was the number 2 with the IBF. So I don't know.
yeah, but the IBF do love calling, man.
True,
Yeah.
but hopefully they
straight
can
away after someone wins a belt.
Yeah,
hopefully they can make it clear that they want to make a unification, so they don't have to deal with it.
yeah, but who knows?
Look,
Who knows, man?
unifications trump mandatories. I mean, they have it all in their rules, but you know,
They gotta
Will
make
they
it.
do it or not?
They gotta make it quick, or like talk about it now.
Who knows? But yeah, that's the one fight I want to see at that weight. If I'm being honest, like
One
there's
and
not
two
much else there.
be a ring belt on
Yeah,
March.
Ring belt and all
because-
that.
I mean, they're the two best at the weight now.
They're the 2 champions.
Still, WC and W are still vacant.
Yeah, so winner undisputed.
Yeah,
There'll be Kanazawa versus Prodisbury for the WC, and then Eric Rosa
Prosa,
versus Arvin
someone.
John Pasionis. Probably.
There was a rumor. You know that there was a Mexican kid that fought at flyweight that won on the Mauricio Lara. No, not Mauricio Lara. What's his name? The one that fought Thomas Matisse in Mexico on the matchroom card.
Rocky.
Yeah,
Eduardo
Rocky.
Hernandez.
Yeah, on that undercard, there was a Mexican kid that's going to be fighting at light flyweight, and they said that he's really highly ranked with them as well, so he could get that shot. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go on down.
Wasn't it Sergio Mendoza or Cordova? I don't know.
Yeah. Mendoza.
Yeah, he's the Mexican guy who can punch really hard.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a. I've still got questions about Iwata, but that was a good performance. But there's still holes there. He still did get quite badly outboxed in that first round.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, he stayed
But yeah,
Kenshiro.
yeah, you can forgive him.
Because
But
I mean, he had a better second round, and then he
yeah,
wasn't having as good of a third round, and then he just landed a shot.
yeah. That's all she wrote. Next up on that card, Saigo Yuriakuri defended his WBA flyweight belt against Charon Fak in a fight that I can't believe was a split decision. I thought Akui didn't box that well, if I'm being honest.
It was a really good
But
fight.
he won 8 or 9 rounds of that fight quite clearly for me. I have no idea how that went to a split.
Got my score. I think I had it right. I think I had the 7-5.
Did you? That's interesting. I thought he won it pretty clearly, if I'm being honest.
Because there was like a stretch, like the mid to championship rounds where I thought Sharamfak had like some really good rounds and brought it back.
For me, I gave him 9 and 10, and I gave him the 7th.
I gave him 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I didn't score, but it did seem like a 7-5, 8-4, like to where you can't give a decision to Cheto. In fact, but he did really good.
Because like Akui wasn't good. Like looked pretty basic. I mean, he didn't really have.
He had no footwork
urgency
at all. He just was
Look,
walking
didn't have a lot of
forward.
urgency. I mean, he just felt like when he lands, it's going to be over. But Triumphant was tough, and he fought a really good fight. Triumphant, I felt like he came and did way better than we thought, and probably as good as he could have done to try and win that title.
I like to see him again. To be honest, he was pretty nice too. He was like a pretty good technical fighter.
Yeah, there's fights for him out there, definitely.
Yeah, look at all these people moving up and around flyweight. There's loads of fights he could have.
Yeah.
Give him Kikuchi. Why not?
Ooh,
That'd be a good fight.
hold on. Now.
That would be a good fight.
Hold on. Now.
Mhm.
I thought Takers was the matchmaker. What are we doing?
Look,
Who's
we
Japanese
can-
champion right now?
Flyweight?
Uh,
Is it
uh,
Takuya Imura?
yeah, give him in.
Yeah.
I love that too.
Make that fight. Who
I'm
else is
sad
there?
because he knocked out Yuga Inoue.
Yeah,
Can you
Yuga
do
Inoue is a king. That's on the list, isn't it?
Definitely,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's one of the fights of the. That's like probably another like top 10 fight of the year.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Or give him David Polinario. Make that fight. There you go. But yeah, like I do worry about Akui at the weight though. Like those body shots in round 10, like really hurt him.
Yeah.
I thought for a good sort of 20 seconds there, like one more clean shot to the body, like in the right spot, and he's going down.
Yeah, because it looks like he has like this like Terminator type pressure and style,
Just walking forward, just like
and it looks good. But if you're not doing much else, it's not going to be very effective.
Yeah,
Like you got to have
but
your
like
feet and your hands working at the same
and he,
time.
and he was only doing one at a time or nothing. Really.
yeah, I still think he's a good fighter though. Like
He's pretty good.
Like, well, unfortunately, he's in like a good division. Is he the worst champion?
He,
It's either him or Ayala.
Ayala.
I like Ayala. He's very good.
I want to say Aku's like slightly better than Ayala. Like
I,
very close.
I'd want to see that fight. I think that fight would be fantastic. But
Yeah, all right. They can unify to find out the worst champion at 112.
It's crazy work.
well, actually, I'll talk about that. After we finish with the flyweight talk, I'll talk about that. But why am I saying that? Because the next fight,
Mm.
Kenshiro beat Rosales, battered him with a beautiful jab all night, pinging him all night with a jab, following up with right hands, and it was just a one-sided beating. Rosales stopped it in round 11 at the start by the doctor. And I was saying for a couple of rounds before that, the corner ought to be having a look at because like he was getting beaten to a pulp, blood everywhere. It was just a bad beating.
The only person who's done that to Rosales is Martinez, and that was a good Martinez back in
That was
2019.
like prime Martinez.
Not the Martinez we had in the last few years. This is a good Martinez, like a hungry Martinez. And look, I mean, we said last time that. Oh, I said I think he's gonna be really good at flyweight. That weight
The
is
difference
gonna help him.
between his performance against Cannavales and this one is like astronomical. Like it's like he was like a whole different fighter. And his like his defense was better. His like movement was he used more outside movement than he usually does because he's usually trying to like just run people down. But it was overall another like insane like one-sided beatdown performance.
Yeah, ridiculous fight, man.
Like it did seem like an anticlimactic like stoppage,
Yeah, it was
It was the
Yeah.
right stoppage, man. Like,
but
it
his
was good.
nose was over with. Like it was crooked, like it was clearly broken,
yeah,
and it just never stopped bleeding from like
the shot that stunned Rosales in round 2 or 3, the right hand,
Yeah,
that visibly. I think that did his nose in because it was right on
I
the
think
nose.
it was like a
Yeah,
yeah. I think they should have replayed that, and it was like,
I-
yeah.
that had to have done his nose.
And then over and over again, round after round of beating and beating and beating, and just like, man,
Because look, you have a Kenshiro with the skills he already has with his his movement and his jab, which is insane, and his distance control, and the way he can switch up punches to the head and the body. Have him not drained, He's gonna be good at flyweight. He's really good at flyweight.
I honestly think he's like a lower top 10 pound for pound fighter. Like maybe
I
like
agree.
9 or 10.
I haven't my pound for pound list. I've had him. For
Yeah, he's
a
probably
while.
not left.
He hasn't left. Like
Yeah,
I think
when he
some of
beat
these-
Kiyoguchi, he's been in there since he beat Kiyoguchi.
how many years ago or two?
Yeah.
He
for me,
he does he
I,
deserves to be like higher than people like think he shouldn't even be in. For some people it'd be controversial. He deserves to be higher than people like Haney and Gervonta for what he's actually is performing in the ring against people that are like actually good former champions, all type of things.
Look, because he has a very deep resume. He just happens to be going life and death with everyone except his best win against Kiyoguchi.
Which is
Yeah. he's a brilliant fighter, man. Can I just? Do you know how many jabs that man landed?
A lot.
95 jabs in 10 rounds. He threw 276 jabs in 10 rounds. Like what?
constant. Doesn't stop.
Constant in your face. Round 10, he threw 57 jabs.
Look, I don't care who you are. If you're letting Kenshiro throw and land that many jabs against you, you're not beating him.
Ever.
Yeah, like ever. Like,
Look,
it was a brilliant performance.
He's too good on the end of that jab. You're not beating him. Because, like we say this, because look, Kenshiro had a massive reach disadvantage, but he out jabbed him. So I'm saying timing. You know, like Viterbi out jabbed Callum Smith, who had a massive reach advantage.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, a really, really good performance. And after the fights, Mr. Honda said he wants to make a unification for Kenshiro against either Inoue or Olasquaga next.
I feel
That's
like
what he said after the fights.
all Squaga needs to have is like a real fight, like before that.
I think the Inoue fight makes sense,
I think
honestly. Like,
I think it's very winnable, like more than winnable. I think.
oh yeah. Kenshiro wins that fight for me, definitely. But I think it'd be a very typical Kenshiro fight. Like, it's a life and death, very fun fight that he's winning clearly.
Like how the first
Yeah, exactly like that. Like, sort of a Kui chugging plodding forward into him, throwing a lot of shots, but Kenshiro landing loads, getting hit a little bit, and then eventually Kenshiro grinds him down. Too many clean shots landed and takes him out.
Look, I think Kenshiro will stop him to the body. Like these right hands that he throws to the body.
Yeah, it's like a
They're gonna
very,
kill
rare
the
punch
Kui.
to throw is a straight right hand to the body, but it lands almost every time, and it's the crispiest. It's the crisp. It looks so good when he does it.
And a lot of the Japanese fighters do it.
You don't really ever. So I like, but Turbiev does that a lot. Like straight right to the body.
Fantastic performance, and in the main event on that Sunday show was a fantastic fight between Takuma Inoue and Seiya Tatsumi. Definitely a list fight.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was worried for a second that it might not be.
The fight hadn't ended yet before I had already put it in my notes.
Yeah, but Tatsumi, man. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach to this one, because whenever I predict a fight and you two go the opposite way, what happens?
All right.
But anyway, gloating over that. It's just the pace, man. You can't live with that pace. You can't live with that many shots going at you.
Yeah, how many punches? He threw like over 1,000 punches.
Over 1,000 punches, and like, if you're not a puncher like Takuma isn't, and you're not exactly a huge bantamweight, and you're not exactly a physically strong guy, you're just going to get overwhelmed. And that's what happened. Like, Takuma had a good sort of first 4 rounds. He even hurt Tatsumi with an uppercut. But after that, man, it was just dominant. It was domination, man. it was like exchanging, but it was dominance. If that makes any sense at all.
I'm trying to look at my scorecard. Yeah, it was like Takuma did like pretty well in certain rounds, but then he just got like out punched in like a lot of those close rounds. I had it 7-5 with the knockdown for Satsumi, but it could be like a round or two wider.
Yeah, man. I think I had it 117, 110. I had it really clear.
But yeah,
I gave Inoue the first, third, and round 9. Yeah, first, third, and 9.
I gave Takuma 1, 2, 3, 7, and 9. I think.
Yeah.
But it's the same with like how Baturbia did. That you just win those last couple rounds, and then he got a knockdown on top of that. Like Takuma was like enraged that it was not a knockdown, but he got hit.
It was.
And he if there was no ropes there, he would have fell right on his ass. So
it wasn't brilliant.
So somebody closed the fight out. His body was probably burning like hell when the bell rang, but it was worth it.
Well, that's how you perform to win a world title. I mean, I don't think Takuma fought a very smart fight. I mean, he was kind of like
showboating too much.
Like he obliged it. Like he probably thought he was in control with the way he was fighting on the ropes, making him miss. But
he wasn't.
Like, yeah, you were making him miss.
But he was
But
also
you're not-
So you're letting him throw like 30 punches at you.
Yeah, he's throwing so many punches.
Yeah.
Look, hold on. He's throwing so many punches, and you're not doing anything. And some of these punches are landing, and they're scoring. Like you might feel like you're in control, but
you're not.
He's the one scoring.
I've had this conversation so many times with people. If you land 1 out of 5 punches, if you reset that, if you land 5 out of 5 punches, but the other guy has landed 15 out of 40 punches, who's winning?
I guess it depends.
The guy, yes, that guy's missing loads, but he's also landing a lot more. That's what was happening.
It was like a Fulton Figueroa type situation.
Look, well, when Takuma stopped being a flashy, non-punching Naoya and actually boxed like his style, I mean, he did fine. When he got the jab working, it worked and it slowed Satsumi down. He just didn't throw it.
He hurt Satsumi a couple times too, which is like a weird sight.
Because even in the rounds he was losing, I mean, he stopped being an idiot basically and worked his jab, the most important punch in boxing. Because let's be honest, most people can't defend the jab, and if you keep sticking it out, they're not going to be able to do anything.
Especially at Satsumi, you've seen in the Hanaguchi fight, he's not super good with boxers. Really.
Yeah, because he got outboxed in that fight. He's just an insane, relentless puncher.
It's crazy, man. Crazy fight, but like,
because Takuma could have won that fight.
He probably should have. Honestly.
Yeah, really, he should have. I have no idea what Shingo was telling him in the corner. But I'm surprised he didn't tell him to stop. Or maybe, look, a lot of the times, trainers do tell you to stop fighting like that. We just watched Lykovic versus Brewster, and his corner, every single time, is telling him, stop fighting like this and box him.
And
he doesn't.
His head pinged around.
And they're just going to war. I mean, look. So, what can you do if a fighter's not going to listen to you?
You just have to, I guess, apply what needs to be applied to the style he's not going to change to. But it's not going to work against Satsumi because you're not equipped to throw 1,000 punches in a fight.
Yeah, because like if someone's throwing double the amount of punches you've thrown
from all over the place, like not technically sound either, like they're
going to win because sometimes that's activity, like it matters. Because it's hard to see all the punches that land, and when someone's throwing so many more punches than you,
like 3-1,
they're gonna.
And they've got you pinned on the ropes. And
like you're stuck in the corner while it's happening. It's not a good look.
Because it's a bad look. How the fight looks, it's bring generalship. How the fight looks, he's controlling the fight. Like this fight is being fought how he wants it to be fought.
with you
It-
stuck in the corner.
Like
Not,
even if you're obliging and you feel like you're comfortable and you're like, yeah, I'll fight like this.
I'm rolling some punches.
This is Satsumi's fight. This is what he wants. This is how he's gonna win the fight.
Outside of the first like couple rounds, that was Satsumi's fight. And, he probably that night he was. I don't think he was going to be denied. And you could tell he
Yeah, look at
probably threw however many punches in the last 3 rounds. That's probably
look
the
at the
most punches
emotion
he's
he
ever
had.
thrown.
Look at the emotion he had after. Imagine like what he's gone through since the Anaguchi fight.
That which hasn't
Yeah.
even been. He hasn't even been a year removed from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just gone and won a world title. No wonder he's crying afterwards. Like I can't
I'll-
imagine the emotions he's going through after that.
I'm kind of glad that I got it wrong.
Mm.
Yeah. I said earlier about me losing money on Casemiro.
You won a lot of money.
That fight made it back. That fight made it back, baby. Come on.
Yeah, because I mean, look, now he's changed his life.
Yeah.
And
What?
man, Takei fight. Takei Satsumi is
I don't think they'll make that fight, but that would be ridiculous.
the thought of that.
I think
imagine
there's.
Takei's lunging punches and then Satsumi's 100 punches around. That would be insane.
I think there's two options really. They've got Antonio Vargas, who's the mandatory, he beat Jonathan Rodriguez last year, or you've got a Juno fight, which they
mandatory.
Tatsumi welcomed the Juno fight. Like today, he said he'd take it if he gets offered it. But
if he wants it, then fine.
I'd
Vargas
really
fight
like that
much
fight.
better. Vargas fight's a much better style. Well, a fight for him because he can win that. I don't think he can.
He'd beat Vargas, yeah. He'd beat Vargas. It'd be a war, but he'd win that fight.
I would like to see him defend his title, which would be obviously easier to do against Antonio Vargas because he didn't he didn't really perform that well in the eliminator.
Yeah, because I mean, after that, I mean, give him a bit of an easy one. I can't stick him in straight with like Junto Nakatani.
No, just stick him in, man. I'm all for throwing these guys in.
Look,
As a
if
fan,
he wants to,
he would probably perform better than what we think he would. But
this fight's not realistic at all. But can you imagine the sort of exchanges up close between Tatsumi and Nishida? By the way,
oh Jesus Christ!
that fight would be. Oh,
I think Nishida would win that.
Yeah, I do as well.
But because he's like a much cleaner fighter, but he also doesn't have just like Takumi. He is a more technical fighter, but he's not a puncher. So you could, I guess, with that logic, he could do the same thing that he did with Takuma. But I don't think Nishida is like someone to like showboat in between the rounds like he was like Takuma was doing, like staying on the ropes. I don't think he would do something like that.
Look, Nishida would hold his own a lot better, like up close in that type of fight than Takuma.
Nishida, he's just like stuck. Like it's weird with him. There's like no news surrounding his name. I know he's still probably recovering from the Rodriguez.
One second. You two talk for a second. I'm gonna get a text up. Because I got told something the other day. Who's he fighting? He is
Nishida.
Yeah, I got told his opponent.
He's fighting this year?
Yeah, he is fighting Unachai Dunsua, the 16-0 Thai kid. He's ranked 79 on BoxRec.
Well.
He's the 15th ranked IBF contender, and my God, he's fought absolutely nobody.
Yeah, but we said it's funny because with this card, I guess we've shown that we've kind of underrated these Thai fighters because their resume is lacking, but they're really
he just took something that looks like, you know, when you get sticky keys and it's like puts a load of random letters there. He just took him on debut 8 rounds, so who knows? I'd love just Nishida in a big fight. Honestly,
He'll get one. I'm glad
He'll get one soon.
he'll get like a intern fight because it's been like a good couple of months since the Manny Rodriguez fight, and you can see the. I don't know what specific damage he took, but you can see in his face something's
Yeah,
either broken or bruised or something in his face.
yeah. Good, nice bit of time off, and then yeah. Moving on to Monday, another 3 title fights from Tokyo. First up, God, I don't want to talk about him. Nobody wants to talk about him. Nobody wants to watch him fight. Jonathan Bomba Gonzalez quits after headbutting his way to a cut. The doctor saying he's fine. Him quitting after continuing for about 15 seconds. Horrible fighter. Horrible. And he was getting levered as well in that first round. Like, Olasquark was winning that fight. He felt the power and knew that he wasn't going to make this full 12, so he headbutted his way out. Pathetic performance. Pathetic fighter. He's been pathetic for years, and I want him out of sport.
He is generally one of the worst champions this decade has had. I personally was like, it's funny with the belt that he won off Soto. I was like kind of happy at the time that he ended Soto's reign because he was like getting weird decisions and fighting like horrible. He had won the title off a horrible stoppage against Acosta. And I was like, okay, he's finally his reign's over. Thank God. But every Jonathan Gonzalez title defense, all the stuff outside the ring of him talking like he's some big bad wolf when he's one of the like he's the I literally can't even explain what he's just an embarrassing human being fighter everything. He's pulled out of multiple fights where he's probably been getting paid more than he'll ever be paid. He's just an embarrassing fighter. I would really love to never see him fight ever again.
Yeah,
I'd like to see him get like brutally knocked out.
I hope the JBZ do the right thing and withhold his purse.
They're considering.
Yeah, they are. They're considering
overturning it.
They should.
They're gonna appeal it, and they might. I mean, they should because, like, the doctor said he could continue.
And the fact that he did continue, it's not like he was like, no, I can't really continue. It like hurts.
Then
too
he
bad.
continued, and then he told the ref,
I can't see.
So
like,
it just got weighed off. What's the point?
That's a T. I feel like that's like a quit. That's like a TK. That's a TK. That's like his own towel throw at that point. Even if it was from a headbutt, he was allowed to continue. It's not like
because it's not different. The doctor didn't stop it. I mean, the ref stopped it because he said he couldn't see when he could see. I mean, the cut wasn't even that bad.
The cut was very small, and it wasn't going, and it wasn't moving anywhere.
Like Chris Eubanks' cut that he got may have been worse than that.
It definitely was worse than that. And he didn't complain, and Nakazura had the hell out. With Bomba, an actual former world champion, with multiple defenses on his like legacy as a fighter, you just blatantly quit, waste everybody's time, waste the whole training camp you did, all the stuff that Olasquark did to get to this point, to actually be able to defend his title, and you quit after a minor headbutt. It's embarrassing. Literally,
he's pathetic, mate. He is pathetic. He's a pathetic fighter. I want him out of sport. I want him done. Get out of sport, bro.
Look,
get out the sport.
It might be disrespectful to other people to call him a fighter.
It sounds like a harsh thing to talk about a fighter and say he's not this because we're not fighters. We can't like know what they're feeling, but it's not like in the one-time thing. It's not a one-time thing.
Yeah, I've been in the ring loads of times.
No,
we've been in the ring, bro. Like it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that little rat, is horrible. He's horrible to what. I genuinely can't think of one redeeming factor about him. He's horrible to watch. He's got horrible style. He's got gift decisions. He's undisciplined, and he's just a horrible person. He's horrible, mate. Pathetic, right? And I'm not talking about him anymore. He's pathetic, right? Let's move on. Kosei Tanaka. Kosei Tanaka loses a split decision to Fumalele Kafu in another fantastic fight. I don't know if it's made the list. Has it made the list?
Made the damn list.
Yeah. Fantastic fight. Fantastic fight. But I'm not saying this is I'm gonna this was not a robbery. First, like, I'm gonna make that very clear. It could have gone either way. But I personally had Tanaka winning it. I don't know about you two. I haven't asked you.
I had Tanaka winning by a point.
Same.
114.
A lot of close rounds. A lot of close rounds that could have gone either way.
Yeah, all of those cards, they were all 114, 113, one way, one the other. But yeah, very fair cards. I'm not saying it's a robbery, but I'm saying I thought he won.
Yeah, I personally thought that 12th round where he was like, if he was given another minute in that fight,
he would have stopped.
He would have got a 12th round stoppage. Kafu was spent. I personally thought that got him. That in my opinion, that won him the fight that last round. But and there's another very similar. I think it was round 9 was like the closest round I can think of where it could have went to Kafu. I'm not mad at the decision. It was the closest a fight could get, but him getting dropped, in round 5 didn't help him, and he would have been a majority draw if he wasn't dropped. So, yeah.
But yeah, fantastic fight. But yeah, Tanaka's defense, man, it's been a story of his. It's been the story of his career. His defense just isn't up to par, and that's what lost him the fight.
It looked good in the first couple rounds, and then it just fell off a cliff when he got hit with a perfect right hand that nearly face planted him before he caught himself. But yeah,
Watching Kafu's other fights, you could see he had talent, but he never really put it together. And he really did last night.
He was super impressive.
Yesterday morning. He fought really well.
Him going to Colin Nathan has really improved him.
Colin Nathan is a magician.
He legitimately is a great trainer. And he's a great manager, and he gets his guys into position, and he's if you want to achieve something in South African boxing, I'd say go to him. In all African boxing, really, he is the best trainer on that continent.
Yeah, because he was leaving Japan with something.
After Nanchinga was knocked out.
Nanchinga lost his title.
He was going to leave that country.
I'm leaving with something.
I'm leaving here with something.
Then Kafu's like, yeah, I'll just take this belt off you.
He is a great trainer.
Because Kafu, he was already ranked top 10 in the division, but obviously he's put himself right up there now. That's another.
I got top 5 fighter in the world.
That's another good addition to 115. That's already a good division. Because if he can perform like that consistently, that's
at a very minimum. At a very minimum, he will be in wars, even if he loses them.
Yeah.
Technically, really pretty fight ones like that.
Yeah. You know what should happen next though?
A rematch.
Oh yeah.
I don't even think. Well, a rematch should happen or will happen. I think that was fair. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see that fight again. Of course, I would. Good fight. But I just, Turkey Al Sheikh wants to have these these pound for pound level guys in Saudi Arabia. He is invested in the lower weight classes. He's got Oscar Collazo against Knockout CP Freshmart. So why not have Jesse Rodriguez against Philalemi Cafu? If I can pronounce it, that is.
You
I
can't.
can't pronounce names. I can't pronounce names.
Just Kafu for you.
Because I'm a stupid cockney. Yeah, I can't pronounce the name.
Just call him Cafu.
But yeah, Bam Rodriguez against Cafu, February in Saudi Arabia in a unification. That would be the perfect fight for an undercard.
Obviously, Bam would win, but I'd be interested to see how he deals with that sort of style.
Like a style that
Because
technically almost mirrors how like nice he lets his hands go.
Because obviously, Estrada is a back foot fighter because he's a counter puncher, but he doesn't move like Cafu and Estrada had been out the ring for a long time. So it's easier to track him down. But obviously easier as well because Bam Rodriguez's footwork is insane.
Yeah, like that'd be it'd be one of these fights where Bam's winning it, but he's getting tested.
Oh yeah, also I forgot Sonny Edwards. But Sonny Edwards held his feet, he kind of fought with him, which wasn't very smart, but well,
yeah, in like a 2 foot by 2 foot ring. So he sort of had to.
Yeah. So
that ring was like the smallest I can remember. They made flyweights look big in that ring. Like it was one of the smallest I can ever remember. It was tiny. It was like smaller than a York Hall ring.
But not smaller than a Mexican ring.
Maybe
those
it was.
Those rings are not.
That was basically a Mexican ring. That was basically a 16 by 16 ring.
It probably felt even smaller than that to Sonny. He's probably used to used to going around a lot.
Yeah, because the pressure that Bam puts on you with his feet. I mean, that must have felt very small. Like it was like, why am I fighting in a folk move? Probably what Bebop felt at times.
Yep. Ridiculous. Yeah, man.
It's fine.
Go on.
It's fine for Tanaka as well. I mean, he can still get fights. He's still
a good fighter.
He's just since Yoka, he just hasn't been the same fighter.
Look, well, that obviously getting knocked out would take a lot out of you, but he's just getting older. And
you know what it is though? He's fought like that a lot of times throughout his career. Saladar, Bomba. A lot of these times he's getting dropped and going life and death. But at Superfly, he just isn't big enough, isn't strong enough, doesn't punch hard enough to just physically impose himself and get them out of there down the stretch.
Yeah, because he has been in loads of great fights, like Ashida,
Kapora,
Taguchi.
Loads of them.
Kimura, 2018, great fight. I mean, look, they just take their toll, and especially with someone who gets hit as much as he does.
It's such a short, like not even a super long career. That was his 22nd fight.
Yeah, like you get fighters that are in a lots of great fights, like let's say like a Chocolatito, but he has good defense. I mean, he's not getting hit
nearly as much.
Nearly as much because like he's blocking, he's riding with these punches, he's slipping these punches. Whereas Tanaka's not. Like he shows good defense, but it's like patches of good defense. Like it's not consistent.
Yep. But it's just Tanaka, man. He can still be in good fights. He can still be in really good fights. But man, I wasn't expecting that. That's like still a massive shock to me. Like I honestly thought he would get it. I can't speak today. I don't know what's up. I can't speak. But yeah, I thought he would get that decision, but he didn't at the end of the day. It's proper funny.
Well, they, I mean, they're not all Japanese judges, but judging in Japan,
They don't.
Yeah.
they're not
They
very
don't. They don't give
favorable
you breaks.
to Japanese fighters. Because a lot of the times in close fights in Japan with a Japanese fighter versus a non-Japanese fighter, like it seems to go
The other way.
against the Japanese fighter.
Yeah. The only one recently that hasn't was the Lakian against Takui. And Kenshiro, to be fair, that night as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, we've done that fight. Next up, Tenshin Nasukawa against Go Inoue. Really, sort of people. I'm going to have a little monologue here. Fights like this, people are very quick to blame the guy that wins every single round. The guy that's done his job, he's won the fight clearly. He's barely got touched apart from a head clash that cut him. And dominated throughout. Go Inoue was a disgrace in that ring. He did not try to win. Blame him. Don't blame Tenshin. Yes, it was a flat performance. Yes, he didn't go through the gears like I thought he might. He could have done maybe, but he won every single round against a guy that wasn't trying. He's a natural counter-puncher himself. Like, his game isn't to sprint forward and throw loads of punches. I thought he boxed okay, he boxed fine. And I'm not going to throw away the high praise that I've had for him before that fight. And how highly I regard him as a prospect, just because he's dominated a fight like that. But anyway, the floor is now yours.
Look, well, obviously, Asido does deserve a lot of blame. I also blame the matchmaker because Asido is a counterpuncher himself. Matchups between two counterpunchers, they don't usually go too well.
Are usually pretty nasty.
Because they're both usually waiting for the other person to lead, but they don't want to. So it's a lot of just posturing and waiting, just standing in front of each other doing nothing. And especially with one guy who's severely outmatched in terms of skill, he's not going to do anything. And Tenshin's going to be forced to lead, and he's not the best at leading because he is a counterpuncher. And really, it's just going to be a chore to watch, which it was a chore to watch.
It was a very much a chore to watch for me at 4 a.m. to watch that.
It was a bad fight. It was a bad fight as a watch, yeah, whatever. But Tenshin for me won every round, man.
With a lot of these predictions that we did, we just got the outcome wrong. Every time.
I'll just take that as a learning fight for Tenshin.
Yeah. But this is his 5th senior fight ever. No senior amateur experience. This is his 5th fight ever. Senior as a boxer.
I mean, he's coming up against a few different styles. And this is fine. I mean, get it out of the way early rather than coming up
against
against
for his career.
A good fighter.
Just wasn't nice for my eyeballs, but it's good for him.
The thing is, with a lot of these guys that are big stars, their development phase is in front of the world.
Yeah.
So you're a fighter that's a no name having this on a Unex card halfway down it on a Wednesday morning at the Karakanal, nobody cares.
Yeah, but because he's such a big name, he gets put in the co-main event.
Yeah.
Above world champions, and above Japanese champions as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I still think he's a good prospect, man. I still think he'll beat Sakai. And they're thinking about that fight next year. And I think he'll beat him next year.
He needs to show improvement first.
The criticism of the performance is fair. And we'll see what he does in his next outing. I hope he gets out soon because that wasn't much of a test for him.
That cut was bad, though.
Yeah, that cut. Okay, I forgot about the cut. Hopefully he doesn't get out soon because he needs to let that heal.
I think they'll get Tenshin out in February. Just a little hunch. Well, that's the plan anyway.
We need to get him opponent to look good, but actually test him and not just stare at him. But
Yep. But yeah, I still think he's I can't speak, man. I hold him in pretty high regard. I don't know what's up with me, man. I can't speak. That's brilliant for a podcast, isn't it? But the last fight of this, however many fights we've done today, Junto Nakatani just beat up didn't he? Beat up GP Freshmark, just beat him up, or whatever name you want to call him today. Because he seems to go by about 16.
Well, yeah, Thai fighters always do. That's why they're always named after the promoter or their gym.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was a good finish. I mean, I didn't think he looked very good for 5 rounds of that fight. I mean, he wasn't really doing much. And then he let Patch have like a very good 5th round. Maybe that woke him up because he just started fighting
had
back.
to because that kind of irritated me. How?
Because I mean, like he looked like defense looked fine for the first 4 rounds, but it's easy to have good defense when you're not really throwing anything. Because once he started throwing stuff, defense just went out of the window.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't want to be like too critical, but I didn't like that performance. Honestly. Like, it was a great knockout, but I wasn't. Like, it was an opponent that he honestly should have wasted, and he kind of eventually did waste him. But then he went through the tough 4th and 5th rounds with him basically just them two just sitting down and trading. It just wasn't what he should be doing at his level. He's nearly he's arguably top 10 like fighter in the sport, and you're trading with a fighter. It's just not a good look.
The problem is like he's
a huge fighter.
Like he's so big, even though he's going out the ways, that he's still drained.
Yep.
Like he is drained.
It's ridiculous.
I cannot believe he's a former flyweight champion. That doesn't even, when you look at him, that makes negative sense.
If the times were lined up a bit, he could have fought Kyoguchi.
Yeah.
Like, just think about that.
He turned pro in like 2015, so it could have happened like a little before he fought Magramo.
That was like his last fight at flyweight was 2022 on the Golovkin card, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Was that on the Golovkin Murata card?
Yeah, Mauchi.
Yeah.
Probably.
Man. Yeah. Ridiculous, man. He's ridiculous. He's just too big. Like, I don't understand it. How do you cut that much weight?
Because you can see in his performances. I mean, he can't like have a consistent work because he doesn't have the energy.
His
like,
whole
when he does
title
stuff,
reign is so inconsistent.
Because when he does stuff, it looks great, but then he just can't sustain it because he's so drained.
His whole like all of his world titles, he has about how many like world title fights? Like 10. It's a crazy amount, but he's not ever consistent in them. He's looking great against like Maloney and like who else? Like
the only consistent one was Max
Labio. Yeah, Santiago, but like in between like the Cortez and Chihuahua, like those like fights all in between there, like really bad performances.
Yeah, because like he looked good against Santiago.
He looked really good.
Smashed Santiago to pieces, man.
But I mean, it's probably because that was his first fight at bantamweight, so he's gonna be stronger.
Like, oh, look at me! I'm strong here. I'm good.
He's like stronger, and now he's like been a bantamweight for a bit. He's just as drained as he was.
This fight is the first one where he's like, "Oh man, I'm feeling it now."
Yeah, because we don't know if he was gonna have like a shaky performance in his last fight because it was over and around.
Yeah.
Like, because he threw a couple punches like exactly like that against Petch, and that could have ended it. We wouldn't have known. Like he's got used to the weight. He's been in there for a bit, and now he's just as trained as he was in his last fights.
True. If he
Everett,
fought if he fought Petch instead of Astrolabio, and this was the Astrolabio fight, probably could have been different.
yeah, because Astrolabio better.
He's usually better than that performance he gives.
One thing is though, Petch it has a ridiculous chin.
This shit is stupid.
Like
I was like giggling at the punches he was landing live.
Yeah,
I was like,
'cause-
what do you mean you're still standing up? What
there
do
was
you mean?
one period where, in about a 30 or 40-second spell, Juno must have landed about 10 or 15 clean, sort of right and left uppercuts. And I was like, what? Like, and then Petch was laughing, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I think that was in the 5th round. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They were
he was
going crazy in there.
Because even the punch that stopped him, that the sound of that punch was insane, and like
Yeah.
that should have like probably knocked him out. Because that's a clean punch from a big puncher. At range as well,
Crazy, man.
where he gets all his power.
Like he has got about 2 fights left at bantamweight max, and then it's the one, isn't it? It's the super fight. It's the fight that I don't think, if you're in the Junto Nakatani business, you should take just yet.
Just see it.
Look,
I think if you're fighting Inoue, you should do it at featherweight. If you're Nakatani, but that's just me.
No, they're definitely not fighting like anytime soon.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was next year.
It have to be like late next year. He needs
Late next year.
Junto
Definitely.
needs a fighter too, and probably in the next fight or two he won't be a bantamweight anymore. So
well, I don't think it'll be next year.
I
think
don't really.
I think it'll be 2026.
I don't think it'll be either. I feel like he wants to. I think himself he wants to like develop a bit more.
Like,
He actually wants to have a consistent like run of fights. Like he's never had that. Like he's won all of them, but he's never.
I think he should fight Saya. He should fight Saya to say next.
He should fight at least one more. I don't think he's gonna be enough to become undisputed at this weight.
Maybe like a unification and a defense. Like that'd be nice, but
because there's no way like with how the belts are stupidly he'd be able to unify. He can't do that, but yeah, and it's not realistic anyway. I genuinely don't think he has another 3 fights at this weight class. He might not even get 2.
Look, it's a big fight. I just don't think he's good enough, to be honest. I don't think he's good enough to beat Inoue.
I think
like, Inoue is a generational fighter. Nakatani is a very good / great fighter.
I think he isn't good enough right now. But if you, how old is Inoue now? 31.
It's crazy that he's not even that old. Anyway.
If you get a 33 or 34-year-old Inoue at featherweight, who's had a couple of fights there and has had tough fights against someone like a Nick Ball, he's had a tough fight against, I don't know, a Mirko Cuello or someone like that, tough guys that will be rough, physical. Inoue's lost half a step, and Junto Nakatani's just coming into his prime at his best weight class, which I think will be featherweight. There's a time when Nakatani beats him. Right now, and for the next year or so, 18 months, I don't think Nakatani beats him. But there is a time period when Nakatani could be the first man to beat him.
See, that's it. If it's a faded Inoue, like that's what he needs to win. If it's a good Inoue, he's not winning. I don't care how much he improves. He's not winning. He's not good enough.
A good Inoue is near enough unbeatable. Below, so at 122 and below, a good Inoue is practically unbeatable by anyone.
Look, even if he comes up against a fairly good Inoue, that's not like great. I still don't think he wins. Obviously, he has a puncher's chance. Like he's not going to catch Inoue with a punch that Neri did because, well, he doesn't fight like that. He can't fight on the inside. He's going to catch him at long range if he's going to catch him, which is possible, but against an explosive guy with much faster feet. Like, Nakatani is interesting because I wouldn't call him flat-footed, but he does kind of plod a lot. Like, he's kind of like Canelo, where he can explode with his feet into punches. But he doesn't have like fast feet consistently.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, like a Bevo who has like insanely fast feet, or an Inoue who's not rehydrating 700 pounds.
This sounds counterintuitive because Jin'o is sort of in the lower weight class, but Jin'o would probably be the biggest guy he's fought.
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely.
Compared to person to person, Taguchi is like a pretty big person, but it'd probably be Nakatani.
Nakatani's like 5'8", 5'9".
I know. I'm
big,
just like comparing it to how
Yeah.
big they were at the time.
Yeah, because Nakatani's like twice the size of everyone he's fighting. Or maybe not Pedge. Pedge is quite big, but
He's
people.
also a huge bantamweight.
I know he's starting to come up with people who are like relatively close to his size, but when he was at flyweight and super flyweight, he was like twice the size of everyone.
Acosta and Yamauchi and all type of people.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's a great fight. I want to see it, of course, as an Inoue fan. I want to watch him. I want to see him fight the best fighters, and that's one of his toughest fights on paper.
That'd be a fantastic fight.
And it's massive. Imagine like that sells out. Where could that be held? Where they put that in the Tokyo Dome? Is that big enough?
They could.
I think it.
Oh,
I think
there's what's it called? There's a rugby stadium in Tokyo. That's about 80,000.
They probably need to do that one because the Tokyo Dome only holds like 55,000.
The Japan National Stadium is an athletics and sports ground that holds 80,000. And that's 80,000, but you could put like another 5,000 or 6,000 on the pitch. So yeah, do it there.
Yeah, Japan's Wembley.
Yep, that's the fight. That's the event. That's the. Can you imagine? This is just me like building up something in my head. But can you imagine a Inoue Nakatani, and then a Tenshin World title fight on there, like against Takai or someone? As like a co-main event. How big that would be.
Yeah, I think honestly, Tenshin and Takai could have their own event and sell as much without
Tenshin and Inoue. Now, Tenshin versus Inoue would stop the country.
It'd be
that's not remotely competitive.
It would be like Kameda Naito.
Yeah.
Stop half the whole damn thing.
Yep. But yeah, man. Yeah. I think we're done now, aren't we?
Yeah.
This was a long episode 10. And as always, all the links are down below. I'll try and work on speaking properly. I don't know what's been up with me today. I just keep mispronouncing words. But anyway, all links are down below. We'll be back with episode 11, previewing the Tim Tszyu fight, the William Skull fight. There's a load of fights this weekend. There's already a Batavia Bivol show out, a review of that card. And yeah, thanks for listening to this week's episode, or today's episode, sorry.
See you in episode 11.